If you think of yourself as a 44-year-old rapper, you're gonna be stuck. You gotta think of yourself as a 44-year-old writer.
We're telling stories. I can see how it can be discouraging for a rapper who's only talked about 4 or 5 subjects their entire career.
DIY.
In this clip, you're gonna hear some statements made by Phonte and Big Pooh, courtesy of the Math Hoffa podcast, my expert opinion show. And on this episode, Matt Hoffa's not actually on here, but his co-hosts are talking to Little Brother. And Little Brother actually gives a really fire reaction to what they saw initially from the Andre 3000 statement about him saying, I don't know what to rap about at 48, colonoscopies and all of that.
Yeah, man, I read, that quote that Andre said, and I understand exactly where he's coming from. Like, I completely get it. Because it's different. I think it's different as an MC. Like, you can be a 48-year-old producer.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? You be a 48-year-old drummer. I mean, I look at, Questlove, Amir, you know what I mean?
Nobody cares.
It's still, in his 50s, still just killing shit. You know what I mean?
Actor, poet.
Right. But as an MC, there's that, it's kind of a stigma where, you get older and you're comparing yourself against past work. Mm-hmm. And it can be hard to find, okay, I did all these things, but where am I now? And I get it. I mean, I didn't do my first solo album until 2011. And then I didn't make my next one until 2018. I had to stop and realize, like, all right, so much of my earlier work was built on, was driven by struggle and driven by kind of survival mode. And now it's, however, years later, and I'm like, man, I'm not that person anymore.
I wonder why. I got my own theories, but I always wonder why the stigma exists and why even I feel it to a certain degree. When I'm meeting someone for the first time who's asking, what is it that I do for a living? And why I'm partially hesitant to tell them I am a rapper. I've even seen documentaries where rappers will say things like, I just don't even want to tell them I'm a rapper. I'll just tell them I'm a writer or that I'm a musician. But even with the musician, there's still a stigma of, are you successful or are you struggling? I told somebody that one time when I was trying to hide the fact that I was a rapper. And I said, yeah, I'm a musician. They was like, so what do you do for a living though? And I was like, kiss my ass, first of all. Second of all, it's what I do for a living. It's interesting hearing the point that Phonte also made about earlier in your years, you're very attached to an identity. So much of my music in the very beginning was about yo, I'm gonna come up, I'm trying to make it out these situations, I'm gonna blow up one day, I'm gonna buy my mama this, I'm gonna da-da-da. And then when you actually start making money off of this, it's like, them kind of struggle raps don't hit the same.
You ain't broke no more, nigga. You know what I mean? And if you're used to creating from that space and you don't know how to access that other part of your creativity to get it open, it can feel like, damn, 48 is the end of it. And, for me, one of the things that helped me kind of get through that stigma was that you can't think of yourself as a 44, I'm 44. You can't think of yourself, if you think of yourself as a 44-year-old rapper, you're gonna be stuck. You gotta think of yourself as a 44-year-old writer.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Great point. We are writers. We're telling stories. Stories require us writing. You're sharing what is it like to be your age? What are the things that you value? What are the mindsets that you stand by? What are the things that interest you? Who are the people around you? And when you look at it like that, I can see how it can be discouraging for a rapper who's only talked about 4 or 5 subjects their entire career.
It's like it's not just rapping, I'm a storyteller. And as long as you feel like you have a compelling story to tell, then there's always gonna be an audience for it. Like I remember his quote, he was saying, man, what I'm gonna do, rap about a colonoscopy? I would absolutely listen to that. That would be fascinating to me. But if it ain't fascinating to him, then, it's
What's
not
the point?
So I think everyone just has their own walk in this. They have their own journey in it. And you just kind of gotta, just let people find their way. You know what I mean? So I get it.
I'm the big boy of this situation. I keep getting shots out. Because it's about individual journey. You know what I mean? Right. So for me, I didn't have people hailing me as one of the greats and all that, individually. I didn't get that. So for me, it was a constant, oh, I'm gonna show you niggas then. I'm gonna show you niggas then. Oh, you still don't believe? I'm gonna show you again. So that was my thing. So
you got some artists that catch they breaks at 40.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think what Big Pooh is saying is really, really important in that we're all driven by something different. It's just important, I think, and it's great that we're hearing so many of the OGs explaining what they're actually driven by. We haven't always had these conversations as candidates. That's why it's dope that we have podcasts.
Yeah, that's true.
You got
too.
some artists that really catch their breaks at 40. They've been doing it their whole life. 40 years old, 45, and they popping now. You like, damn.
Bro,
Yeah.
to that. Made a Little Watch in 2019. I was 39. I put out my last solo record in 2022. I was 42. Niggas say that's the best work of my career.
Hello.
That's crazy.
Hello.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Imagine if a rapper like that would have listened to someone tell him in his 30s, hey, hang it up, bro. You look stupid out here. Stop rapping, bro. Get into like real estate or something. Imagine if he would have listened to that. He never would have met his greatest work at 42. There are many examples. Colonel Sanders is another one. That Colonel's chicken spices and all that. Mans didn't get that off until he's 53. Imagine him telling, man, put that stupid ass bow tie away, comb your hair, you know what I'm saying? Go get a nice job. You feel me? Like, how do we limit people based upon simply age? Had I not continued to pursue music, I would have never met my first #1 album on the hip hop iTunes charts, DIY 2 last year. Had I not started to do it, I would have not gone direct to consumer and seen an album that did almost $4,000 in 2 weeks. I would have never seen somebody pay $100 for my album. That happened when I was 38.
The best work of my career.
I'm not shocked.
Yeah, it's different. It's not something that, I think with hip hop, or just particularly, with MCing, it's not a physical game, right? It's not like, all right, nigga, my knees getting bad. You know what I mean? Like, your knees get bad. It's like you just ain't going up against these 25-year-olds every night. They gon', you know what I mean? It's nothing.
They're gonna smoke.
They smoking your ass. You know what I mean? They gonna pack you up real fast. But you know what I mean? But in hip hop, as a writer, you know what I mean, your brain, you get sharper. You know what I mean? I remember reading an interview with Martin Scorsese. He was promoting his new movie, The Killers of the Flower Moon joint. And he said, I finally now I understand what cinema can be. I understand the power of it.
Wow.
But it's too late. This is a nigga that made Goodfellas, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Classic.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and this is him saying, like, after a 60-year career, I'm just now understanding the power of what this medium can be. And I think that just speaks to just the life of an artist. As the older you get, there's just a curiosity about yourself that doesn't exist in your 20s and 30s.
Facts.
I think, your 20s is, it's just all piss and vinegar. It's just, I'll huff, I puff, I blow your house down. Your 30s is, I'll huff, I puff, I blow your house down, but I'm going to find a smarter way to do it. Your 40s, it's like, why the fuck am I blowing down houses?
Talk about it, man. Talk about it. Come on. Talk about it. I love that. I love that. I love that because it's so damn true. I even alluded to that a little bit earlier. I love that. Why the hell am I trying to blow up houses? What am I doing? I found myself writing a new verse, and there was a part of my brain that was like, ooh, say this shit. And I'm like, why? Because I'm not even how you feel. Because it'll be a crazy little bar. Somebody will be like, ooh, that's crazy. I'm not doing it for them no more. I know my lane. I know myself, which is probably more important than anything else. And I know my strengths. Not to say that I can't develop in other areas. I want to continue to grow. That's what keeps me excited. Big Pooh said he just want to take more shots. I get that. For me, I have so much of a curiosity of what hasn't been done yet that it excites me. It excites me that at 38, 39, I'm starting to learn new things still. It excites me that I'm like, ooh, I want to get better at the keys. I want to learn this. That excites me. Because then I'm like, I'm smarter than I ever been. I have more experience than I ever had. I have more resources than I ever had. Why wouldn't I make the best art that I've ever made?
It's like, there's another way to live my life. Like this, you know what I mean? But you start to examine that. And I think having that self-examination, that self-reflection, with hip hop still being a relatively young genre, you know what I mean? I think we're just at a point now where people are trying to figure that out, and we're just not getting. I think, the 40, 50-year-old dudes in like 20, 30 years, like Ice Spice in 30 years, she's gonna be amazing. Like, she's gonna be fine. You know what I mean? Because there'll be a blueprint laid for that. You feel me?
Right.
You understand? Like, there's a track.
Because the blueprint is being laid.
It's being laid now.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, it'll be there.
When
But
she gets married, when she has a kid, like all that stuff is right there for. I see what
you feel me? You know what I mean? So yeah, man.
But I also look at examples like, Hove, for example,
100%.
right? As he evolved, he talked about the things that he's evolving through.
Absolutely.
Right? Sort of like you guys, right? There's certain things you're evolving through that you're like, I could talk about this. I could talk about that now. Andre 3000, I feel like he doesn't have that spirit in him, right? It's like I'd rather do things musically through production to convey my love for music in contrast to actually
That's
wording.
just talking about it. Nah,
You know what I'm
that's real.
saying?
That nigga scared. I don't care what nobody say. I love you, Andre, but you scared, bro.
That's really
Because he can talk about a lot of shit. There's mad shit going on.
Let me
Just pick a fucking topic and talk about it.
Andre 3000, one of the most dynamic, one of the most analogy-driven, the most metaphoric. There are things that I still listen to now with a different perspective. They always say, rewatch your favorite movies, re-listen to your favorite albums because nothing has changed with it except for your perspective. So go back and re-experience it. He is one of the greatest MCs of all time. That man could talk about anything and make it sound like everything. Talking about, I'm gonna rap about a colonoscopy. You wrote that third verse to Elevators. Stop it. Stop it, bro. Quimini. Stop it, bro. Stop it, bro. You one of the greatest, and you know you one of the greatest. I just feel like he got that Michael Jordan thing where he like, damn, do I really want to ruin that last shot that I had against Byron Russell? Should I really come back? I should end off on that note where everybody think I'm the greatest. I don't know, man. I'm talking as a fan right now, but shit. I understand some of the frustrations that happen at this age, but I'm like, as I'm sitting here writing now, I also have to realize because I took a 9-year detour, I have a vibrancy about music that somebody who's been doing this continuously for the last 25, 30 years, it just may not be like that no more. Maybe they just ready to move on. And I get that. Could've been me though. Couldn't be me though. Couldn't be me though. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, you 16 bars every fucking 6 months.
You can talk about whatever, but like Tay said, you gotta look at yourself as a writer and not a rapper.
Right.
Well, you know what?
Yeah,
how
that's
about
true.
how about just an artist? How about a creative?
Yeah.
I mean, him putting out a flute album.
I think
is
he's no more
an
creative
artist.
than that.
Which is why I'm not mad. Okay, 3 stacks.
For that 15th
Look at the
time,
camera.
nigga saying this.
Me with my A&R hat on. How about one song for every city you've traveled to with the flute?
Facts. And experience.
Every little story
For that.
you've had with the flute. How about 16 bars for every city?
I was inside of New York the other week playing the flute. I met a little boy named Timothy. I skipped over his Christmas present. It fell on the feet of his little sister named Kimberly, simply saying, I understand what they saying too, man. Rap about what you going through. That's what we want to hear. But you know what I start realizing? I say this respectfully. Niggas is tired. And niggas is scared. And I get it. This is a disgusting industry with a bunch of disgusting ethics. There's a lot of stuff that we don't see that happens behind scenes. There's a lot of crazy stuff that's coming out right now with accusations around some of these folks. And it's like, damn it, the parties be all extra'd out and a whole lot of stuff be going on. I don't want to say I get it because I ain't been in there to get nothing. I ain't got nothing in that damn space. But I get being over it. And I'm grateful that I didn't get to a place where I fell out of love with just the curiosity of writing. I'm grateful that I put myself in the line of fire so many times with my decisions in my career, my opinions. I've been called every single name in the book you could think of. My skin that I've developed over time, it's a lot thicker than I think that it would have been had I just gone the route of being an artist. But because of that, I walk into writing and I'm like, fam, ain't nothing you can tell me about my thoughts that I choose to share. And however it comes out is the way that it was meant to come out in this era of my career. If it comes out and you say, ugh, this shit whack as hell, I am in my whack as hell era, at least according to you. If it comes out and you're like, damn, where has this Curtis been? Growing, finding his way. And now I'm in a place where it's like, damn, man, it's so dope to hear all the OGs talk about things they never talk about because it makes me feel a little less crazy. When you love what you do, it's not really an expiration date on it. It just finds another way that you package it up, or you find another way that you package it up and present it, right? You find other things about it that excite you. But it really shows you, man, I think about this industry and I wonder how much this industry purposely drains the energies of some of the brightest and most creative minds in hip-hop, in other genres too. But we're talking about hip-hop. How much of this business purposely drains these young creatives so that they have nothing left when they get to their 40s? All they can do is a podcast. That's all they have energy to do, right? I wonder how much of it is done on purpose, especially when they don't own their masters. Just thoughts that I had over my vacation. I'm curious to know what you think though, DIYers. Talk to me. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.